Yo, what's going on? Episode 3, Season 2,
You already know.
Circling Thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Circling Thoughts podcast. Gustavo here.
Javi, coming to you live.
So today, doing Jesus, I can't speak. Let me start over. Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi Miyamoto. The reason I was really messing up is because everyone online has his name is in that order.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I've ever heard it, I've heard it flipped the other way.
Okay.
Because, I mean, one's his given name, which I believe, I'm not even going to guess. I can't remember. So you have a given name, and then the other name is thought to be like he took it later in life, and it was his village where he was born and raised.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Musashi Miyamoto.
All right.
He was born in 1584, and he died in 1645, right?
So how old is that?
About 60.
Okay.
I think it said he was like 16, between 60 and 61. I'm not sure. So he's regarded as Japan's most famous and skilled swordsman. And he's probably, especially after looking him up and just looking into things, I'd say he's probably the most skilled swordsman of all time.
In the whole world?
Ever, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I think he's probably one of the most famous too. I mean, I looked the list up and like he's like in the middle of like a top 10 for a few, but the other ones I've never heard of.
Okay.
I guess maybe if you're like
so
in
he
the
made
swords. He didn't make, no. He wasn't a blacksmith.
He's a swordsman.
He was a swordsman. He was a samurai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just clarifying for those who also questioned.
Yeah. So he has 61 recorded duels.
All right.
61.
And was that last
And you
one?
know what a duel is? I mean,
Yeah, they duel.
As a swordsman, this ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! As a swordsman, you're dying.
They fight
right?
to the
So
death.
he and that's on record, right? He probably has a good bit more than that.
A few more, yeah.
And his first one actually was when he was 13 years old. 13.
Fighting for his life.
Fighting for his life. It's pretty crazy.
Wild. What were you doing at 13, boy? You was riding
That's
a
what I was
bike down
thinking.
the
I
street.
was 7th grade. I literally was thinking that earlier. I was like, dang, what was I doing when I was a 13-year-old? And it was 7th grade. I mean, wasn't doing much. Just
I mean, I was playing soccer on a middle school
Nintendo
team.
64.
Yep, playing Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh, yeah. Some
Yeah,
zombies.
that's what I was doing. It's like while he was over there battling for his life, we were over there battling to survive round 29 on zombies.
Well, so you didn't get no 30s. And he actually, at the end of his life, he even authored a book known as the Book of Five Rings. And a lot of people still read it today, and they try to apply it for different things. But yeah, I mean, I guess it can be. But as far as what I've read, like it seems to mainly only be on Kenjutsu, which is Japanese swordsmanship and martial arts. But he does sprinkle in some quotes there that you can like apply in life, right? And one of them I thought was really cool. I don't know if this was in that book or this is just a quote that he is on record saying, but there's nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. I thought that was really cool.
That's a good quote. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. He also actually meditated towards the end of his life, and he was an artist. He created art. He did a lot of stuff. So
Man of many traits.
Man of many traits. So 4 minutes in, kind of got our intro on who he was. I think a decent amount to break him down and see what we think of him as a man. Again, we're trying to perfect this format, right?
Man, oh Jesus. What's that here?
Somehow I hit that robot thing.
Did you hit it? I didn't see
I didn't. I bounced. I hit here, and I don't know.
But no, from the sounds of it, I mean, he has 61 duels. He's fought at the age of 13. Like again, like a warrior. Like he's a swordsman. Like that's what a warrior is, like a fighter. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, to be at that young of an age, like hardly any time for childhood type stuff,
Oh yeah.
Like he just grew up in. I wonder like what kind of environment he grew up in. Like that was the first one recorded at the age of 13. Like maybe he could have had one at 12, 11, 10, 9.
I think the one at 13. I think he's on record saying it himself that he was 13 at the time.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he probably got in fights, but as far as like to the death type stuff, I think the first one was 13 because he said that. And I mean, Musashi, there's a lot. I mean, he's a very historical figure. So we can talk for hours and hours about him. But again, the main focus of this is, just talking about the overall
Do you
of
know?
him, the man, and what makes him a man and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, did he have a family? Did he have a wife or anything? Did he have children?
So it's not really. I think it's kind of up in the air as far as what I saw.
Okay.
Right. It seems like he um denied the advances of women oftentimes because he wanted to focus on the warrior lifestyle, on his
Okay.
swordsmanship, on dueling.
What do you mean by like denied the advancements of women? Like he was.
So a woman would just come on him, come onto him and try to, I don't know, do whatever. But
And he
yeah.
would deny it.
yeah, he just wouldn't. He wasn't really in relationships.
I wonder if he was like religious or whatnot.
So he actually wasn't religious either. And he didn't want to bring religion into like his swordsmanship. He wanted like to depend only on himself. I don't think he had anything against religion as far as what I was reading. There are quotes of him, and he does talk about religion, but he wasn't. If I'm remembering correctly, he didn't seem to he wasn't actively practicing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Especially not for the at the end of his life, he did meditate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he may have thought in religious.
I mean, there's a big religion over there, and he's an Asian guy. He's Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Buddhism is pretty big over there.
Yep. So I think again, I guess I don't know everything about him, but the later years of his life, he actually was in a cave. And that's where he was, writing his book
Doing his meditation.
meditating in this cave. And oftentimes there were Buddhist priests there as well. I don't know if they were like there to converse with him specifically, or maybe the cave itself was a spiritual place to be. But he was in the presence of monks and stuff like that.
Okay. Did he die in the cave, or like how did he die? Do you know?
Yeah. So he died. Actually, it's believed to be from. He's believed to have died from lung cancer. Essentially, is what it was.
Dang, I wonder if you're smoking that tobacco.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess right. It seems
Smoking
like
something.
it seems like.
I mean, do you have to smoke something to get lung cancer?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
No, you definitely don't. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
no, I mean, from the
definitely-
sounds of the guy, I mean, what makes him a man is, his passion for wielding swords, creating swords. I mean, he had to at least,
no, bro. We talked about this before.
So you don't think he created
just
that one sword
because
ever?
just because you're a swordsman does not mean you're a blacksmith. They're two totally different things. They require totally different skills.
I know that, but
So,
I'm saying there's got to be a story you probably don't know of that he had to create his own sword at least once.
No, I don't think so. It just doesn't even. I mean, maybe he participated in like the design or
The
something at some
choice of,
point,
like-
but yeah, no, he didn't actually create
Okay.
any swords. At least, again, not really, nothing that I saw. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, blacksmith, swordsman. But yeah, he also created like the two sword style. I can't remember the name of it.
Dual wielding.
Yeah, but there's like a Japanese term for it, and he created that, and he had his own school. He did a lot of stuff. He participated in a few wars, especially in that time in Japan. It's like any modern country, or just any country in general, that is like developing or is like a big power today, had to have like gone through war and conflict. So there would be who was in power and who was like uprising, right? And he would partake in that, and yeah, I mean, he did a lot of stuff. So I mean, like you were saying, I think him like sticking to his ideals, even denying the advances of women, to focus on like becoming a better swordsman and like finding people to duel with and stuff like that. I think that was I don't know, I don't say manly, but I guess yeah.
I mean, I think by him being like a warrior, like I said, and a teacher. I mean, women can be teachers as well, but he was teaching like how to fight, to an extent, how to
Yeah.
be a swordsman, and yeah, I think like, having those characteristics of like leading and guiding people, like physically and by him meditating, he was also being there, like being there for people spiritually as well. And maybe not physically, but like, you know, maybe like in their thoughts type stuff, or in his thoughts. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely hard to, to try to define what we're getting at, in terms of, because I feel like a lot of things that some of these people do, women can as well.
Yeah,
But like
definitely.
majority of them, we talk about like everyone that we talk about so far is just like a fighter. Like they've always been in fights. They've always led like some type of demonstration to assert or assert their dominance, their sort of the dominance type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, now that you say that, it actually makes me think more about that too. Um, I mean, maybe, again, I'm throwing it out there, like asserting your dominance in whatever, whatever field it is, could be part of being a man. But then again, women easily could do that. Like if they're specialized in whatever area, they can assert their dominance in that area. So I don't
Yeah, they
know.
want to go out and make connections, network, and stuff like that. That's like continuing certain dominance, but
Yeah.
but I think of it in terms of like the male way, like a man way, would be like you're more so
Your physical dominance or
yeah like
your
but
ability to,
your physical dominance and like your physical like presence, like you're telling people
yeah.
you're not really like there to be friendly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all these guys we talk about are like people who just they're on a mission.
Yeah.
Like they're stepping on people's toes. They don't really care whose feelings get hurt type stuff.
So you did ask if he had any children. I think it's not really known, or at least I may have missed it. But as far as what I was reading, it seemed like it wasn't 100%. So he did have a adopted son that I think they said is believed to be his older brother's. I don't know, maybe something happened to his brother. I didn't look into his brother, but he has an older brother. I believe he was 6 years older than him, and yeah, he had an adopted son, which is believed to be his brother's son, his brother's child. And I think they said that he may have fathered a child. I think it was a daughter, but it's not like 100% thing. I mean, you have to think about like that long ago. It's kind of difficult to
I feel like
pinpoint things and like know exactly.
I feel like he definitely had to have
You would think so,
a
yeah.
child because back then there's no contraception, there's no protection. Like
I mean, I think there may
This-
have been some sort. I mean,
I don't know,
the
that's
pull-out
what,
thing has kind of been
500 years ago?
forever. You
Yeah,
could-
but how
you
many
could
people
do that.
actually do that though? Like actually,
I mean, they
intentionally
probably were
with, like,
doing that then too. I mean, I don't know.
maybe.
They knew how babies were made, so they, I mean, they probably people think it's a good method today. Back then, they probably was like, oh, this 100% works. You know
What,
what I
what
mean?
would you think they called it back then, 500 years ago?
The same exact thing.
Pull out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like they were speaking Japanese, so whatever it would be, something like that.
Yeah.
Or at least in his case, they were speaking Japanese. But yeah, anywhere in the world, they had to have been some variation of pull out or whatever.
I mean, I don't know. Even just like a few decades ago, those families with like, I mean, like our parents. Our parents have, on our dad's side, he has like 8 siblings. On my mother's side, had like 7 siblings.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, the world has changed in general. I mean, but you're saying that because of you're saying that contraceptive works,
no, that like,
or
they
that
didn't have that. I don't think they were really aware of like the pull out game type stuff.
I
Like,
feel like they were.
maybe they were just more maybe they were just more like self aware that having sex would result in a child. So maybe they prevented themselves from doing that.
Maybe, but
Whereas nowadays people aren't.
also
too
children
bothered.
weren't. I feel like they may not have been as difficult as they are today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was,
Like the
it was a lot-
responsibility is much greater now than it was then.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
think.
Yeah, because you have to put them in school type stuff.
Yeah,
to this
yeah,
thing,
there's
you
just
have
more to it. Like, and kids died then. Like, I mean, it's a pretty negative way to think, but like, people in general, their average lifespan wasn't like it is today, and especially with kids, maybe they died. Like, you could have 10 kids or be pregnant 10 times, and like maybe 5 died out of 10 or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? There could have been
Yeah.
cases like that, but yeah. I was thinking too. I wanted to add in like a cool factor for the people we've done. So every week we can change the scale.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, the cool factor of all these people, I'd say Musashi's at top, Genghis Khan is in
We're
second,
rating them. Okay.
and then Gaddafi is in third for me as far as like the coolness when you think of like who they are, what they've done. and just everything about them.
Okay. You want me to rate him too?
Yeah.
Who was the first guy you said that you did last week, 2 weeks ago?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis
so he was
Khan.
the first Mongol
Yeah.
emperor, essentially.
Honestly, I would probably say Gaddafi for me.
I was thinking you were gonna think that I did those because I did
The only
them.
reason why I say that is because the other two were like several hundred years ago. Like I know there was like powers in control then. But
Yeah.
I feel like Gaddafi is so recent. Like for him to do what he did in front of all these powers, like the United States and Germany and Italy, to stand up in front of all them and to do what he did, not really caring too much about the repercussions. Like I could resemble more with him than the other two.
Resonate, yeah.
Resonate.
Yeah. I agree, I guess, because he is closer to us in time.
Yeah, like the other
But
two.
I guess I'm also biased because like I've loved like ninja since I was a kid. I
Yep.
mean, and Musashi was a samurai, not a ninja, but I've literally loved ninja since I was a kid and Japanese stuff since I was a kid, and like swords and knives and just stuff like that. So the thought, maybe all that, there's like a bias there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But and the fact that like he put his life on the line, like straight up 61 times. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
least, not including his battles, not including anything that was like not ever recorded. Official
I would rate him
duels. Second.
and then Genghis Khan third.
I mean, the thing with Genghis, it was on such a large scale.
yeah,
So for me, it's like, I mean, as far as what they accomplished on a cool level, Genghis would be
number one.
one, and then maybe Gaddafi at two. I don't know. It'd be difficult. I guess
Yeah.
our coolness, our cool.
You're rating it on coolness.
is different. It could be
I'm
different.
and I'm rating it on like more. I don't want to say influential, because
Accomplishments, I guess, or
I mean, how was I rating him? I was being biased too. I want to put mine up first. I'm just kidding.
I was thinking you were gonna do that.
No, but
honestly. I was thinking you're like, he's putting his two. I'm doing mine first.
No, I put mine there because, like I said, like to be able to do what he did, like for his people, for his country.
Yeah, that's
and,
cool.
And like a recent, like he died in 2011. Like
Yeah,
he did this like from the 1980s, 90s, and like early 2000s.
yeah.
Like those guys went like their swordsmen in the 1500s. The Genghis Khan was like the 1200s.
I don't remember Genghis Khan's time period.
It was around,
Probably
around 1200s. Like yeah, for him to
Was
like
it
amass
1200?
all that land,
Yeah.
like that is a hell of an accomplishment, you know,
Oh no, yeah.
to do what he
super-
did.
Super crazy. So,
Yeah, and the other guy put his life on the line. I don't remember Gaddafi really like, battling anybody, but he did lead a whole coup.
it was just 1200.
He led a whole
Yeah,
coup.
I mean, battling and being a warrior is different in different time periods, right? There's
yeah,
no, you can't be a warrior in the Japanese sense at the time Musashi was alive. Right now, right? You can't go around challenging people to
duels.
duels to the death with a samurai sword. You would get locked up pretty fast.
You know
You might get one, but it wouldn't even count because the other person, unless you give them the sword and you're like, we're fighting to the death right now. You know what I mean?
No, it's crazy because actually the other day I heard about this law in Texas that you're allowed to fight 1-on-1 in Texas on the street if
Both parties
both
agree.
parties consent.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen
like
that.
it'd be crazy if they like
And you have
pass
to be
the law.
adults.
Yeah, you had to be
Adults.
adults, but they passed
Yeah,
a law
yeah.
where, like, hey, like you could fight to the death
I
if
think it
both
makes
parties
sense.
agree.
Yeah,
That'd be
it makes
wild.
sense.
No, but like imagine agreeing to that and like there's a law saying, hey, you can kill somebody if they agree to fight to the death right here and they not be punished for murder. You know? Well,
Yeah.
that basically is taking the Texas thing to a whole other stage. Like imagine also this for instance, like imagine they both parties consented and they just happen to like hit the guy and he lands weird. And
I think in
and he
cases
happens
like
to
that,
die.
I think in cases like that, they probably are not going to prosecute him because the original thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they agreed to it, but yeah,
I wonder if there's a case like that.
I'm sure there has been.
It's
There
gotta
probably
be.
was. But yeah, I mean, 61 duels, never losing, and then creating a book that is still read today. Being regarded as the most famous swordsman in Japanese history, the most known, perhaps the most influential.
So here's another question actually. Why was he like do you know why he chose like why he wanted to be a swordsman? Like is there a reason like his father was one or like did he have to resort to defending himself because of people were after him or
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there may be more information out there as far as why he may have said it in one of his books or something. As far as what I know, I'm not 100% sure. I can only speculate without having like looked that up specifically. But I mean, that time period, you really only had one choice a lot of times, um, especially like in times of war, right? You had to either fight or die. You know what I mean? In a lot of aspects, and especially if like the whatever um whoever's in power, they might go around looking for people to fight for them, right? So they might be going village to village
Yeah, true.
and
Hey,
rounding
who's the
men up.
strongest person here?
Not even that, just rounding any guy up who can hold a sword. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was. I don't think that was his case, but yeah, just in general, like you had to fight in time periods where like war was constantly going on.
Yeah, I wonder, like, was he like a part of a clan, or like was it a sport that he partook in, or things of that sort, you know?
Yeah,
But I mean, from the sounds of it, like you said, maybe he was just
I think that like that was the ideal. Like right now, you know, in our time, like what do people want to do? Like what's like the goal, right? To be an actor or a professional sports player or a model. You know what I mean? Or like a CEO. Like there's these things that people want to achieve in different time periods. I guess the overall one is people want to be rich, right? So I guess in that time period, like right now, I think the idea of being rich is a little more feasible. You know what I mean? But in that time period, you know, maybe the idea of being rich wasn't even a thing. Like it wasn't like feasible in any sense. So that wasn't the goal. You know what I mean? So maybe it was like the ideal for men in that time period was to be a warrior,
maybe a fighter. Yeah.
to be the best. You know what I mean? To specialize and create and do all these things. So yeah, I don't know. Where are we at? 20 minutes?
Okay.
Okay.
We know.
But yeah, I think so overall, I think he's a manly man.
Yeah.
Did a lot.
Definitely a warrior fighter. I mean, survived 61 fights to the death.
Yeah.
He definitely, carried his own weight.
I say to further solidify my idea, I think last week we both said, at least I know I definitely said for me so far, the idea of man as a warrior in whatever sense. And I think this just further solidifies that idea, right? So just being a warrior in whatever way you think, right? So whatever that means, whatever being a warrior means to you, I think that's like,
It could be a warrior in terms
that's
of
what a
like,
man is.
fighting to pay your bills. It could be a warrior in terms of fighting to keep your relationship going. It could be a warrior in terms of fighting for, what you think is right and just. I mean, it could be, as long as you fight,
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that second one.
Which one was that? A
What-
fight to keep a relationship going?
Yeah, like what would that mean? Like I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I get you're saying things to fight for, but that part, I don't know. I don't think someone should have to fight to keep a relationship going. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to you fight for each other, I guess, in some ways, but like
yeah, but
you don't want to be. It shouldn't be a one way. Like someone's fighting to
No,
like
but
keep
you can
a
fight
partner.
yourself to like for a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, say an individual has, like, vile thoughts. To an extent, I think I'm using the right word. Vile, like inappropriate.
Yeah, but what do you mean by that? I have no clue. Like what does that mean? Like what do you mean by that?
Like you want to do good, but
Are you saying someone who's in a relationship that's lustful?
yeah,
Like lust for other women?
Yeah.
And they have to fight themselves to be, I guess, yeah. I guess I could see that. Someone being
yeah,
like
you
that.
can be a warrior to fight against your own like desire, against the flesh type stuff.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that better.
Mm-hmm.
Makes more sense to me, at least.
Yeah, like so those are things I think will like in the terms of like nowadays being a warrior, even like being a boxer, a fighter, a UFC, MMA, whatever. I mean, I know there are women fighters like Ronda Rousey and whatnot, but
She's like she does like wrestling now, like WWE.
Yeah, she is signed by the WWE. She got a good contract, but like fighting nowadays, like even I watched a video yesterday about Joe Rogan. I think it wasn't Joe Rogan. Who's the other guy who actually owned UFC?
You always mix them up for some reason. Dana White.
Dana White. Yeah, Dana
Yeah.
White. Like the sport was like created by and for men, and now like because he's trying to just put fights on television, like he just wants to put content out there. Like getting female fighters is a big goal for him now.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen him actually. Speaking of him, like I've seen him. Like there's that fighting now, like where they just
Oh, the
slap each
sla-
other in the
yes,
face, and
he
I've
just
seen
bought them out.
he bought him.
He bought them because
Oh,
they
wow.
were getting big. It was a big sport, a big company.
I was no.
and he
That's
just
okay.
purchased
I
them.
would participate in like fighting like UFC MMA, but I wouldn't do that slap thing.
Oh, me neither. Like
The
you're
slap thing is
allowing
just dumb.
somebody
Like it's just I don't know. I feel like you have to be like I don't know.
very
I guess
desperate.
I was gonna say you have to be of low intelligence to want to participate in that, but I guess the same could be said about MMA. You know what I mean? But
Mhm. No, I don't think so.
some people
'Cause-
could make that
Yeah,
argument.
some people
They
could
could
definitely.
say, "Oh, if you want to do that, or you would be okay with doing that, then you're of low intelligence." Like I just said about the slapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but people. Yeah, you're right. People could make the argument. Yes,
So yeah, I know, but I don't think. I think
I think it's totally different though. Like
Yeah,
being
like-
in an actual like one-on-one fight, it takes very high IQ to
that's what I'm saying. You have to
outperform,
have in your skill.
outlast,
Yeah,
and just out battle that person. Whereas this slap thing is like
yeah. There's
all it takes is like you need a good technique. You want to hit with your thumb bone and hit him right there in the jawline type stuff and knock him out.
Yeah.
Like if you're aware of that, then you're gonna win. But if you're not aware of that and you just go out there just because like for the show, like you're gonna get your brains thrown around in your mind, in your head.
yeah. You just moving around inside of your skull. Just
Yeah, imagine just sitting there and you just
yeah.
close your
I
eyes.
wouldn't. I mean, it's
Boom.
kind of. I can't imagine like that's like interesting to watch for like a few minutes. You know what I mean? Like imagine like a 30-minute or 1 hour segment of that. You know what I mean? Like with UFC, you have people fighting throughout the day or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they lead up to like the main people,
Yeah.
and it's like, I mean, they're just doing the same thing throughout the day, like slapping. Like that would just be boring. I guess, like I
It
said,
have to be at fast rate though, like fast pace, like
yeah,
where it's not like, hey, you slap somebody and then the fight gets over and then you're waiting for like 30 minutes. Like I have to be like, all right, boom, next two slappers.
yeah. I
Come on.
can't imagine that much growth in that sport.
Yeah, but I mean, Dana White definitely saw it as a
Competition.
company
Yeah.
that he needed to purchase,
Yeah,
and
guess
he
I could
he
see
bought
that.
him up.
yeah. So that was my guy, Musashi Miyamoto. He's really interesting. I mean, like I think all the people we've done so far are interesting. So look them up. I mean, like I said, we can speak on hours and hours about them, and that's not really what we're doing right now. But
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do Dana White, my next person.
Dana White.
Somebody that's a little more relevant to our time period and see like what he has done and what makes him a man.
Okay.
I think that'd be good. Just because like from what I understood, I'm not gonna give too much detail now, but he grew up in a household where his parents were not really together. His dad was like a drunk and his mother would always tell him, hey, you're not gonna be nothing, you'd be just like your dad, and he just grew up to be self-made billionaire.
Is he a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. He got money. That's crazy for a man. I said this a while back. And I'll say it again. Like a million seconds is like 11 days.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I think I've heard this
And
3
then
times at least on
It's
this.
wild to think. Like people who are out there are millionaires think like, okay, everyone knows nowadays $1 million is not doesn't hold as much value as it used to. But a billion seconds is like 32 years. So you're comparing 11 days, so like 365 times 32, like 365 times 32. So you have 11 days times 11,000 days. That's 1 million to 1 billion. It's just great out. Like this guy came from, like I said, this household where his parents were not together. His dad was drunk. To have basically having nothing, like he was low on the socioeconomic status, line, and he comes up to be a billionaire. Like
Yeah. I mean,
wild.
it is pretty crazy.
Well,
What you got? What else you got?
what else I got, man? What's today? Today is January 26th. Honestly, I'm really trying to do a 3v3 soccer tournament in Macon in May
For kids or adults or both?
for
or what?
adults and kids. Nobody below the age of like 10.
Have you ever participated in a 3v3, like a tournament?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I've done it once. It was pretty. I mean,
it was straight.
yeah.
And I the one I did was in dang, it was at ABAC. That's what, Cordell?
I don't know. I did one here in Macon actually, and Matt was on my team. What's his name? Matt.
Fuller?
Yeah.
Was it recently?
No, this was years and years. Like this way before. This was like
Yeah.
I don't know. I was probably like in 9th grade or 8th grade. No, it's
Okay.
probably like 9th grade or 10th grade.
Yeah, well, the reason why I want to do it is because I just want to get my name, like my coaching name, out there more, like people to know like who I am, and like parents know who I am because there are things that I wanted to accomplish like in my area to an extent. I feel like you have to be a part of the community to make things happen. That's just how it is in life. You have to know people to get things done.
Yeah, because people like knowing people or being a part of something. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, so and so who did this. Oh, I know them. Like people like
How
feel
you know
some
them?
type of way about like knowing people or like thinking they know someone. Like
Definitely.
blah blah blah.
So like my big thing, I have a big thought of like I need to go to my AD and just figure out, hey, like what do I need to do? I mean, and being honest, like where I'm not doing it to make a lot of money. I'm doing it to really just like get my name out there. But the money that is made, I want to keep it so I can reinvest it into doing another event instead of doing it through the university where they're making all the money and they're keeping everything, you know?
So
That's what's new for me.
So you're talking about trying to like use the school fields or something?
Yeah, I want to use the intramural field on the Macon campus where they have the track around it.
I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know what it looks
Well,
like.
this is just
It's
a
the
regular
one where the
field.
old gym was at?
Yeah.
Or they built a new one?
No, the old gym behind the tennis courts. You know that little track, and you have
Yeah.
and
Is
there's a
it
field
actually
right there.
good though?
It's solid. I mean,
Really?
I would go out there, and try to manage it like maybe like a month and a half beforehand,
Yeah.
and then like how to paint the lines and everything. But I just want to. One of my goals for 2022, which I didn't accomplish, was to host an event, and I didn't really specialize what kind of event I wanted, but this year I wanted. Obviously want to do what I didn't do last year, host an event. But I coach. I'm in love with the game, and I wanted to host that event and maybe have like obviously men and women groups, and then have 19 years old plus, and maybe do like 15 to 18, and then from 10 to 14, and then below the 9, I'm not going to do it all.
Yeah.
And only in the top 2 groups, men and women, they'll get like, if you win $1,000 type stuff.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
What's wrong with give people an incentive to come out and to show you're the best by winning a prize?
I mean, the prize is fine, but cash prize, I don't know. I feel like you can run into different issues with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a matter of looking into it.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Maybe I wouldn't want to run issues. Maybe I could, just hey, winning team gets $100 gift card to
Yeah,
our
something-
sponsor,
Yeah.
which would be like a Mexican restaurant, something like that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I
Stuff
could do
like
that. I could do
Or
that.
like a iPad. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm just.
But it has to be something that it can be dispersed per the team. Like say it's 3v3, but you want to have 5 people on your team.
Yeah.
I can't give somebody an iPad.
Well, you can give them 5 iPads.
That'd be wild. I had to. Yo, Mr. Beast, man.
Yeah, they'd be charging
Yeah.
a high.
Yeah, they charge like $250 for that
entry
case
fee. Would be
per
super
team.
high. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to do. I wanted
Nah.
it to be. I wanted it to be low, to where people like would want to pay,
Yeah.
and then also like high enough to where like
I think
can,
it's incentive enough just to want to play.
yeah.
I don't think you have to really
have a payout.
have like any payout or
Yeah,
prize.
maybe
Maybe
I
a mini
can buy like
prize.
medallions. I personally don't like, because in here in the Middle Georgia area, if you know this, then any league here, or all the leagues ran by,
All the ones you've participated in for the most part.
well, not all of them. That's why I was
Most
trying to
of
change
the
my
ones,
words.
yeah.
Most of them, all you do is win a medallion, like little red, white, and
At least
blue
do like a
ribbon
bigger trophy,
medallion.
right? Something like that.
Yeah,
like
I could do that.
or
Yeah, team
something?
trophy. Whoever the captain is, get like a nice, big, tall trophy. And I thought about buying like a little, I don't know the name of it, but like a little, like the backsplash thing where they have like the sponsors on it.
No, like the plaques.
Not the plaques. You know how you see like I did like an interview on television, and they have like this little vinyl stand board in the back.
And it has like
And
all the
it-
sponsors on the back.
Yeah. What's that board called?
Just a sponsor board, I guess. You can call it something like that.
Yeah, so I want to get a sponsor board and go around like the area and find sponsors that are also going to pay me money on top of like people that are participating in the thing,
Yeah.
And like I said, just reinvest that money into creating a bigger and better event the next year, but also, rewarding myself with a nice dinner.
Yeah. I have some ideas on
That's
that.
why I wanted to create a website. So instead of people going through,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, It would just come straight to me and all that, you know.
It makes sense. You wanna, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking on the phone with Kira earlier, and I was telling her about that. I was like, hey, I really want to do this. And I was like, you know what? I just gotta, I gotta go talk to my AD, figure out the
Logistics as far as
logistics
yeah.
of what I'm allowed and not allowed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. Because I mean, if they were also to an extent, if I'm being honest, I want to be able to show them that hey, this guy's able to actually
Yeah.
bring money in type stuff, so that they'll see me as more value. Because
Yeah, as an asset.
yeah, they might want to promote me. Hey, I want you to be the assistant athletic director of fundraising, something like that. I can bring in X amount of money to the school.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing else really new with me. What about you?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Nothing new. Nothing worth talking about.
All right. Well, real quick, how's the Bleach coming along?
The Bleach.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like the show.
Oh,
The
they
anime.
already finished the.
The whole thing's already finished.
No. So this half, I think I want to say it'll just be 2 halves,
Parts?
but maybe not. So yeah, they're animating the final arc, right?
Mhm.
But I think they just did 12 episodes or 13. I don't know. They obviously didn't animate the entire last arc. They're gonna do it again the next few months, and who knows how they break it up.
Okay.
Like Attack on Titan, they broke up the last season to like 3 parts, I want to say, or something like that. I think it's going out. I don't know if it's ongoing right now, the last season. I read the manga for that, so I don't keep up with the anime too much. But
yeah.
Bleach, it'll be back.
Yeah, I was just checking it 'cause you said it to me the other day, and I was like, I haven't watched it yet. I just like, personally, you guys, I like to watch a video or any
Like
show.
binging.
I like to just not really binge it, but I would like to like start a show and not have to. If I do get to the end of it, not have to wait for the next episode to drop. I'll let you be able just to watch.
So
the whole
I
thing.
see that part, but I also think it's cool to be a part of,
Because
like,
you have the anticipation building and all that.
but also like you get to go online, right, when an episode airs or a manga chapter comes out, whatever the case is. When it airs that day, you can see like a discussion board, right, like on Reddit or something, or in the YouTube comments. You can just see people talk about it, and you can like gain ideas. You know what I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
Where like when you have like binging content, like Netflix, like I don't know, I feel like the capability to discuss isn't as great.
Yeah, that's true.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because people just go all the way to the end and can ruin it for somebody else type stuff. Or
Yeah, I mean it's just better like that. I think the format of episode a week or a month or whatever is not a month, but yeah.
Yeah, a month be too. I would definitely not watch
I mean
anything once a month.
it would take forever, but yeah, a week definitely. I think.
Heck yeah.
The reason I say a month is because a lot of manga, they're monthly.
For real?
Yeah,
That's wild.
like Hunter x Hunter, monthly.
That's
Actually, it's supposed to be monthly. It's never monthly. He goes on hiatus all the time. And actually, speaking of anime and manga, Musashi Miyamoto, there's a manga
about him.
It's
Okay.
called Vagabond.
I might watch that.
It's a manga. I don't think there's an anime
Oh,
for
you
it.
have to read. Okay.
There might be an anime, but I don't think there is. But I want to say it's relatively accurate in some aspects, but overall probably not.
Okay.
But and that actually has been on hiatus since like 2014 or 11.
So tell people what a hiatus means.
It just means the creator's taking a break for whatever reason.
Okay.
So yeah, the Hunter x Hunter's on a hiatus. It's kind of on a hiatus. He put out like 4 chapters like a few months ago. The first one came out, and that's too good. Hunter x Hunter's so good.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Well, from the season.
And
that I
Baki
have.
too. That's another Musashi Miyamoto. He's a character in Baki. They
Okay.
actually bring him back from the dead.
That's wild.
Like the actual guy, and it's pretty neat. But there's actually a lot of like work of art, forms of media like about him specifically.
I'm definitely gonna check him out a little bit more, just to see what's up. See if he had any children, any like wives or anything like that. Just to get a little deeper.
No,
understanding.
definitely no wives. I mean,
Definitely no wives.
Yeah.
I just want to see what else I can find out about
Yeah.
him. Just because we talked about him so much today. Definitely somebody that I didn't know honestly beforehand, but now I do.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't.
I mean, his name actually did sound familiar whenever you said it.
You probably, I can promise you've heard his name.
Yeah, I've heard his name. I hear a lot of names. I know I come across a lot of information, but sometimes some things stick with me more than others.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, just wasn't something that took me that much.
Yeah.
But now I definitely know more about it. So like, somebody ever asked me later about this guy, but hey, that man had 61 duels, man. He was killing people, slicing them up, man, like cucumbers. That'd be wild, man. I think about it. Like, I wonder. That's crazy, man. Imagine being a man taking another man's life. Like, that's the big question: is how does that feel?
I mean,
Like that? Do you?
well, at that point in time, it was like part of living, especially if you're a warrior, right?
Mhm.
Like I think a lot of people had the idea that like to lose their life in battle or lose their life in a duel
with
is like the
honor.
utmost,
Yeah,
the highest,
form of death. To me.
yeah, like it
Yeah.
was like the best, like with Vikings and everything, like to get where they needed to go in the afterlife, they had to die in war.
Yeah, that's wild. I wonder who put that thought out there. Like, was it?
The baddest dude out there, probably.
Yeah,
He's like, dang, everyone's scared. Let me like tell him like the only way to go to the afterlife is if you fight. So I have more people to fight.
that'd be crazy. That is
Right?
the case.
Super. I don't know. Yeah, that would be wild if someone really thought like.
Yeah, very deep way.
But I mean, I guess it makes sense though. Like right now, we can have the same thing in our time, right? Like the best way to die is being
like for your country type stuff.
stuff like that.
That's what they say. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't know
but
about
yeah.
that either, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never voted in my life, and I ain't gotta do no jury duty. I ain't going to no war. I ain't doing none of that.
All right, so that's episode 3. Peace out, I guess. Later, y'all.